Just mic'd up with Mikie Mahtook. Got the boys in. I got Lloyd. We got J. Mitch. We got Jackie Boyd.
He tried to jump up and he might have knocked it in.
Good timing. Let's go. What a start to the Monday. I mean, I'm from Lafayette. My boys will come in and say,
oh, God. So me and Joe on the ground. I got Joe in the headlock. And he's sitting there. He's punching me in the stomach. Like, punching me.
Here, is everyone sitting around? Who here thinks Ochinko can practice today after having 5 full beers? And he goes, Chad Jones, right? Chad doing 6 minutes. For 7 minutes, right? Chad's like, no, man, I don't think Ochinko can practice today. And I was like, I look back and I'm like, Jesus Christ. I saw you there. You're more fucked up than me.
On the spirit plane had some issues, I think. She was sleep farting.
you heard her or you just thought it was her?
I sat right next to her. I smelled.
Whoa. What was that?
Time to go to the show.
Now, when you do go to spring training, are you gonna bring your chinchilla and your turtle? My dad tell you about it.
The SEC is God, they hate fat people. I mean, I get crushed for that. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man.
Hey, just the South, bro. You got a bunch of food down here. Like they should
Players, look at Lloyd.
You know what, Lloyd?
You're looking for a recruiting coordinator, coach. I'm here.
He's like, I'll piss my pants right now.
No way.
We're wearing gray pants, long gray pants. He goes, I'll piss my pants right now. Hello. Welcome back to Mic'd Up. Today is Thursday, September 5th. 3 straight days of the boys. I hope y'all aren't getting tired of us.
Back at it again.
Listen, voice almost all the way there, boys. It's almost all the way back.
Only for it to get wrecked again.
No, come on.
Nichols.
This weekend, can't be getting wrecked this weekend. If we're getting wrecked this weekend, the game's not going the way it needs to be going, and there shouldn't be any yelling. If there is yelling, it's probably
You're
yelling.
not a true fan, then. What
No.
No.
I'm keeping this voice, keeping the voice tight. It needs to be there. Can't lose it again. I gotta hold on to this thing until the big ones. I gotta repair the vocal cords.
Even
for
with
the Ole
Chip
Miss.
Kelly as the head coach for LSU, first week.
Chip,
You didn't see that?
what?
Nichols, guy that covers Nichols, put out Chip Kelly's press conference. Everybody's like,
Well, speaking of Kelly, Brian Kelly's press conference talking about Nichols reminds me so much of when Coach Maneri would talk to us about these midweek teams that are coming in, and he tried so hard to talk them up and This is what they did, and that's coach speak, and he had to do it. But it was hard. It was hard for him to do that.
Yeah, because he didn't.
He was
He was
going
reading
through-
off a piece of
he was
paper for
going
the
through-
first
yeah.
time.
He was going through all the stuff. It's like, yeah.
Oh, look, they won their conference.
He should have said, listen, we should go out there and we should beat them by 45 points. And if we don't do it, then
I failed you as a coach.
Yeah,
and
well,
I'll be
let's not go that way. But a lot to talk about. We're not going to talk about that just now. The gambling weekend begins today. NFL starts tonight. Ravens at Chiefs. Obviously, Chiefs defending champs. Ravens are looking to take that next step. Lamar Jackson looking to take that next step as a Super Bowl winning quarterback. They played today, 3-point spread. Chiefs are favored by 3. The money and the percentage of the bets are all on the Ravens to cover the spread at 3. A lot of superstar power in the game. Going to be fun to watch football back. Obviously, it's on Amazon Prime. So it'll be good. It will be fun to watch that. We're also going to talk about the gambling for the weekend. We're going to ask our guest, who is patiently waiting on the on-deck circle, Bryce Koon, about what he thinks about some of the games and matchups this weekend. Talk a little bit about what he thought about last weekend and what's he hearing around the facility at LSU moving forward and the things that they liked and didn't like. We have Shake Back Week for the Mik'd parlay. First week wasn't great. Okay, it's okay.
I've seen worse.
We didn't get swept. Thank you, Lloyd. Didn't get swept. Lloyd's bet won. We have now again. All 3 bets are discussed amongst the squad before we put them out there, and we all agree that because we're all in this thing together. And so we have a new bet, and I think this one's going to win. And if it doesn't win, then
Come back next week.
We'll try again next week.
Still
We'll
be
figure it
here.
out. But before,
'Cause we're gonna get on a heater at some
No
point,
doubt.
so
It
just
would've-
believe in it.
It would have been all time though if we had gone 0-3, and then it was
it
like,
wasn't
well,
even close.
yeah.
Actually, the first 2 were not even close.
And then it's just like you could immediately start fading us, but
Yeah.
you can't go 1-2 again. You got to start.
You got maybe 2-1,
Yeah.
or a nut cutter at the end where you maybe lose one, bad beat, whatever. We're going to win. We're going 3-0. We're going to win this parlay. Plus 596. We're
And
going
then
to
we'll
get to
be
it.
done with it.
Yeah, and then we'll be done with it. We're going to get to it. Bryce doesn't have too much time, so let's get to him. Bryce Koon, friend of the show, 247 Sports. He's going to talk everything football, college football, and LSU football. Bryce, welcome to the show. Do you like our new studio? You didn't get to see it last week.
Yeah, man, this looks
Probably
awesome.
should put my
Like,
headphones
this looks
on.
sick.
That'd probably help.
Yeah,
I like it.
Mikey didn't even have his
I didn't
headphones
have my
on,
headphones in.
so he can't hear you.
That's my fault.
He can't
Somebody
hear
ask me
you right now.
questions.
But Jared can if you would have a conversation with
tell
him.
us about.
to
Tell us
Jared.
what you think about the digs, the new digs. How you like the studio?
It looks good. It looks good. Jared, are those your guitars?
Yeah.
See, we'll talk about that a little bit. You know, I've been trying to learn how to play those. No, they are not my guitars. Of course not. No, it's not mine.
No, they're not. But
Man
they
of
look
many
good.
talents.
We're
He-
very cultured in here.
Yeah, he had plenty of time on his hands. He
gotcha.
learned a professional baseball player.
This is what I did my injured year. You know,
Yeah.
I was just strumming that thing a little bit,
The-
just picking it clean. You know,
The dexterity to
I hope that doesn't get clipped.
the
Well,
dex
now.
well, I mean, we got Lloyd back here, so you know how that goes.
the dexterity it takes to play guitar. I'm not great at that. It's it's a pretty difficult thing to do. But look, we've made some upgrades. I can't wait to see it in person until you bring your the gaming system in here. We have our
Missing touch.
yeah, we have our group competition within the game. But welcome back to the show. Obviously, big game last weekend. LSU comes up just short. We've talked about this a lot over the last couple days. Feels like LSU is in a better position week 2 this year than they have been in the last couple years, even though it's the same result and starting the season 0-1. Do you feel the same way?
I'd say yes, just because the biggest thing for me is that 2 years ago was deflating, obviously with the way LSU lost that game. But last year, I mean, you got it handed to you. This one sucks because you really should have won this game. And I'm not the kind of person that really goes out and says that a lot, like, hey, you need to go win this game, or not necessarily you need to, or you should have won this game. This is a game that obviously LSU fans, and I get the sense from the players and Brian Kelly when we talked to him on Monday, or I guess Tuesday, that they know they should have won. And that's not a discredit to what USC, I mean, like, when you give a good team an opportunity, and I believe USC is a good team, they take advantage of it. USC did, LSU didn't. But this is a game LSU should have won. But, heading into week 2, it's a chance where you kind of throw everything out there.
Yeah.
I'd let us sling it around the yard for a little bit. I'd let, get some of these younger guys, especially at the safety position. Deshaun Spears is a guy that I'll be watching. Kylan Jackson. Let those guys get some run so that when you get to South Carolina, obviously next weekend, you have a better idea of what these guys can do. Now, look, I know the competition level from USC's offense to Nicholls' offense is different, but you got to see what these guys look like in a game because some of the different combinations, I'd like to see some things different. I just kind of mentioned the safety spot. And then offensively, I want to see you do what I think is Garrett's strength, and I want to see this team open it up, sling it around the yard for a full 4 quarters.
Being around the facility and hearing kind of the conversations going on, obviously they think they should win the game. They should have won the game, which I think if you watch it, it was evident and obvious that they had a very good opportunity to win the game and kind of pull away. What is it, the feel around the squad and around the team and around the guys behind the scenes there moving forward? Obviously you never want to lose the game, but it felt like, damn, we just kind of did this to ourselves. It wasn't because we played bad. It was just because there was 1 or 2, 3 little incidents, not even plays necessarily, that happened that probably put us in a situation where we couldn't pull away.
Yeah, I mean, I'll start defensively, and I just wrote about this. We talked to Whit Weeks and Savion Jones, and Whit was a little more he kind of expanded on that thought that you just had right there. We just didn't execute when we needed to. There were some good things, and I maintained ever since Sunday night, LSU fans can be disappointed, but one of the things you take away is that this defense did look better. And if you would have told me and a lot of other people that this defense would have surrendered just 27 points and 10 at the half to a Lincoln Riley offense, I said there's a really good chance that you would win this game. So I think defensively these guys understand that, hey, we probably need to make a couple more stops here and there. But I think the biggest realization of that is in the offensive side of the football. I wasn't there in Vegas, but just having talked to a couple folks, Nussmeier was very emotional about.
Yes, he was. He was.
And you can take that however you want in terms of was he upset or mad, or I think it was a combination of both. Personally, emotional about the fact that he knew they should have won that game. They had a chance. I mean, guys, I keep going back to, and we talked with Whit about this. Savion bats the pass down. Whit nearly has the interception. And you have a chance before the penalty where Burns had gotten penalized 15 yards. You would have had about 40 yards to go to score a touchdown, arguably 20 yards for a field goal. The Major Burns penalty happens. You go 3 and out, and then you give USC the football right back.
Yep.
That, to me, is the one kind of swing that just sticks in my mind when I was watching that game. But overall, I think these guys understand. Look, there's been a lot of social media jokes, the memes, all this kind of stuff. LSU can't do this, can't do that. 12-team playoff, everything's still in front of you. You don't want to keep starting behind the 8 ball. I get that. I understand that. It does make the path tougher to be able to reach the playoff. But it's not. Look, it's not that it can't happen. It's not that it can't happen. So you got to get things right this weekend. I've listed something I want to see is. And Kelly kind of mentioned this. He said, I don't see a lot of, and I'm paraphrasing, he said on Tuesday, I don't see a lot of what's productive necessarily. You can't really learn a lot about yourself beating a team in week 173 to whatever. Obviously, we know the digs that Kiffin and Kelly have kind of taken each other, and I think it's jokingly back and forth at one another. We saw Auburn do that to Alabama A&M, last weekend. LSU, I don't know if they're gonna put up 70, but this game needs to be complete utter domination. This doesn't need to be a 35-10 or a 45-20 game, 45-14. I think for the fans and for me and the media to feel comfortable about where this team can still reach the playoff, I want to see just utter domination. Do what you need to do against a lesser opponent.
Now, you obviously won't get to see too much of it or get to really understand too much of it this week, but if you're looking at the stats, the defense that gave up 378 through the air, 72 on the ground, gave up 450 total in the game, the numbers are deceiving from last week. And I think we'd all sit here and say that watching that team, if you had to pick any unit out on that team of the 3 phases of the game that really needed a feel-good moment to come out of that game with, how do you feel being around and being in the building this week? How do you feel that the defense feels about their performance and what their perspective is going forward?
I think they feel, and I can confirm that by saying Whit Weeks told us, that they felt like the effort level and the communication was miles better than what they saw last year. and just at times. And I think we've talked about this so many times, like communication was a problem in week 11, and you just can't have that. So communication, even with the new green dot on the helmet, that was something that teams across the country kind of struggled with. LSU handled it fairly well. Alignment, that they were able to get in position. We didn't see a lot of guys scrambling to make sure they were in position. You saw maybe at times, but it wasn't as often as it was last year. So those two factors, I think that's what LSU feels good about. Kind of, hey, we took this out of there. It's just the execution. And I don't want to single out any particular player or anything like that. I just think that, and Kelly said this, so I guess it gives the green light for the media to be more critical of it. The safety position's just got to get a little bit more production out of it. I think we saw Jordan Gilbert. We saw Major Burns in that star position. We saw Jordan Allen. That's one of the things that I'm going to be watching this weekend is how comfortable do the guys I mentioned earlier, Kylan Jackson and Deshaun Spears, look. Because I think that could be a conversation where maybe not South Carolina week, but as you build towards the game that now feels uber important, if it didn't already, not in terms of 2024, but just the trajectory of Brian Kelly's tenure in Baton Rouge, that Ole Miss game on October the 12th. As you build towards that, you have to know what you have on that back end. So they feel comfortable. There's a ton of buy-in. They love the way Blake Baker is calling this defense. Kind of had a cool exchange with Witt talking about this, but he said the opportunity to contribute within the linebacker room and just the defensive meeting rooms as a whole is something that he is not necessarily used to, but Baker welcomes. Like if they want to see something, he did a specific example where towards the end of fall camp, they were looking at a couple of their blitz packages, and Harold Perkins had said, well, what if we do this instead of this, and then we stunt here? And he said, Blake Baker said, hey, I'll make a note of that. The next day they get in there, and he said it's like you're on the playground, like Baker's drawing this up like in the dirt.
I love that.
And that was a really cool piece to the puzzle.
I love
where
that.
it's like the players feel respected.
Yeah, you can buy some
the
trust
coach
like that.
listens and dials stuff up for them.
Yeah.
And you can tell that's coming from a coach who's not that far removed from playing, right? From being in that position where they are the ones playing and competing on the field. And to me, that's showing the players that you trust them, right? And you respect them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also allowing them having some input. Whether they use it or not, you listening to it means a lot. And you could see that. You could tell that the effort and all of that was there. Outside of the safety position, right? Obviously, we talked about that earlier in the week. Jordan Gilbert, I don't want to say he played terrible, but it was just kind of like a still don't really know, kind of so-so. Same thing with Major Burns. I actually was okay with the way Jordan Allen played. It seemed like he was around the ball more than some of the other safeties. But as far as the defensive side of the ball goes and the three levels, to me, it feels like the defensive line is going to be an issue for people, right? It feels like the defensive line, the way they played and the way they got after the quarterback, even with rushing 3 and 5 guys are blocking 3 guys and still being able to get to the quarterback. Like, I know people thought that, they're going to be good. They got new coaches and the coaches are good, but I don't think people thought that they were going to maybe be this good this early.
Yeah, I wanted to mention because Witt mentioned this, and Savion to a certain extent. Savion had a monster game. Savion plays like that and builds. That's a massive storyline developing for LSU's defensive front. But they mentioned that Miller Moss got the ball out quicker than they anticipated. I mean, sometimes their blitzes they were free. They were able to get to the spot, but it just wasn't in time. And give credit to Lincoln Riley.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, I'll say this. Outside of Lane Kiffin, you're talking about one of the better offensive minds in the country. And probably, look, the stats speak for itself in terms of what he's put in the NFL. One of the better quarterback coaches. So he knows how to coach that position. So I think that's just good on good right there. But to your point, look, they heard it from their own media ever since January. The own guys in their backyard. Hey, what's this position group going to be like? What is this going to look like? They don't have that dude. And, I think what I saw during fall camp, and Lloyd was there too, you saw the competition, the fire. You saw the competition, the fire there with them. I think they feel a little disrespected by everybody. It's kind of LSU's defensive line against everyone, even the media that covers, every single day. Even the certain organizations that could be an arm of the athletic association. So stuff like that, I think, is the big part of what we have seen, and they played pissed off. They did. I was really impressed with the way that Gio Baez played. I thought he was going to be a high floor guy, but he just kind of showed that, hey, I'm not just this old vet that's just here to, take up some space. Like, he can be disruptive. Ahmad Bro, I mean, we obviously kind of got the news last week that was going to be a guy they wanted to count on. He's going to keep growing. So, yeah, I think it can be a problem for other people more than maybe the media and LSU fans thought it would be a problem for their own team. So I'm excited. And once again, another storyline to watch is how disruptive can they be this Saturday to really kind of launch themselves into that first SEC game next Saturday.
This week and obviously the next 2 to 3 weeks is a very good time to kind of figure out the situation that you have brewing right here that just kind of came out of nowhere with the sad news on Monday. How much more do you expect to see someone like Caden Durham involved in this week's game? And how do you see this thing kind of playing out before you get to this Ole Miss game in the sense of who's going to take a step forward, or is it going to be another three-headed situation, or how do you think this thing's going to go?
Yeah, I wanted to kind of talk about what you mentioned there. Obviously, the news with John Emery. I mean, I covered that kid when he was obviously one of the top players in the country. Yeah. And that's just brutal. I mean, you just hate to see it. Was talking with someone kind of close and in around the program as the news was breaking, and they said that he was just devastated. And so, that's, thoughts and prayers with that young man, and just the mental hurdle that he's going to have to kind of go through again. That's not easy. I mean, physically, he'll be able to do some things that he needs to do, and you hope that he gets an opportunity to play football again. But the mental side of that, can put you in a dark spot. But to your point, I mean, we all thought it was going to be Caleb Jackson and Josh Williams anyway, right? Like that was kind of the presumed two guys that we were like, okay, John Emery gets hot, they're riding the hot hand, which we had kind of talked with Kelly, like that was kind of be the plan. Like if the guys started really feeling it out there in the field, we're going to leave them out there. But Caden Durham has to see, like you would love this game to be so well in third and fourth quarter and just get his feet wet as a college player, because I know it's Nichols, but even in passing situations, so that he can understand, hey, how are we going to block this defensive front? And because that's where Caleb Jackson had to grow last year. So I think you have to get Durham really heavily involved in the second half, especially. And I'll be interested to see too, because as we know, there's 3 scholarship backs available. The Trey Holly situation, I mean, we'll continue to kind of see what happens with that. But
he's not even practicing, right?
Still in limbo. Yeah, he's away. From what I've been told, he is away from the team. So
like you can't factor him into the equation yet.
You can't factor. So look, we saw, and I hate this, and it goes along with kind of what I'm saying here. There's probably 1 or 2 walk-ons, and one specifically, and I cannot remember his name for the life of me. I have to go back and look, that played a lot in that spring game. And I wonder, because now you're looking at a walk-on being the 4th string, you're 1 injury away from him having to be counted on in different situations, because you can't just run 2 guys out there for 10, 12 games. That's not the nature of the SEC, and I don't think Frank Wilson wants to do that. So I will be interested to see kind of what that looks like. Caden Durham's got to get involved, and you're going to have to, force feed him a little bit in that second half, and maybe leave him out there longer. Like even if the game's 56-10 in the fourth quarter with 8 minutes remaining, I want to see him out there, because he has to. You want him to not have to see things for the first time against Ole Miss, against South Carolina. He needs to be seeing that in a game like this.
A little trial by fire,
no doubt. Best way to learn.
Yeah.
Was it Malachi Lane?
Perfect. See, boy, that's why you get paid for that.
Yeah, thank you. A journalist over here. That's exactly that people forget. No,
that's the Big J journal.
Exactly. Yeah, I checked my sources, LSUsports.net. Everything lined up the way I wanted it to. I do have a question about the run game, because a lot of people are focusing on whether it be, as Caleb Jackson, like it became, did he weigh too much? Is he good enough? Josh Williams, apparently people are out on him. This is just the kid, like, these are what people are saying.
Is this from Tiger Droppings?
No, this is what people are, like, they're, if you're looking for another running back the way that they are, it feels like you don't really trust Josh Williams and Caleb Jackson. I don't think it's a skill issue. I'm more asking of, what have you seen with LSU's ability to offensively scheme up a run game? Like, you haven't seen them have to do it. Do you see some things that they could potentially try differently as opposed to what you saw versus USC?
I'm so glad that you asked that because that question was asked in the Tuesday press conference, and Brian Kelly looked at said reporter and said, "Well, what would you like to do?"
Ooh, that means you got stumped there.
And so it wasn't me that asked that, by the way. It was someone else, and I absolutely ragged them after the fact about it. But
Well, Coach, I do have some
Mason Taylor
ideas.
said this yesterday. Mason Taylor said this today. I asked him. I said, "Look, it wasn't the result you guys wanted. Is there something that surprised y'all, or was there something that maybe you didn't take into account for that you had to make some adjustments?" And he said that USC's safeties, and this is something that I think we're going to be able to see and watch how teams defend LSU against the run. He said their safeties run fitted us very well. Like if you go back and look, they really were aggressive at that. Now, a lot of fans, and we've talked about this on the Go 24/7 board, why wouldn't that be the opportunity to turn around and open it up so those guys won't creep up? That's a valid thing. Like let Garrett sling it down the field. Until that happens, I could see that, where safeties, a star, a nickel is going to start really kind of trying to fit those runs. So what does that mean? Well, LSU's got to win one-on-one battles. I mean, look, I love both the tackles that LSU has. You got to play better. I mean, you just have to play better. And credit to USC, their defense is better. But when you get into teams that I think have better defenses, obviously Ole Miss there on October the 12th, Alabama I think is going to have a really good defensive front, as they always do, and Oklahoma to a certain extent, and even A&M.
Mm-hmm.
You have
Keep
to
going
win
down
this
the damn
one-on-one
schedule.
battle.
Jesus,
we
the
can
whole
sit here and
team.
Talk about, I know, yeah. I don't know. It's South Alabama. I don't know what they got going on there. You look at what you bring to the table in terms of your offensive line. Hey, this is what it was kind of cracked up to be. It didn't happen. What are the issues? I don't know if it's, hey, we need to run more outside zone or we need to keep it more in between the tackles. I do think that there needs to be, and I do believe this, that Brad Davis probably had some come to Jesus moments in the meeting room afterwards saying, hey, you just got to win this. Like, you just got beat. We can't let this guy cross our face. We can't let this stunt be successful. We have to communicate and be able to pick that up. And so Mason Taylor said that. He said communication and just winning these battles. Like, it's just straight that. And that's very much a coach speak answer. But when I went back and looked at it, like, I don't know how much more you really could do other than the fact you just have to win your battles. They didn't execute. USC out-executed them there on the front seven.
I would say real quick, I'm sorry, because the pass protection was elite. Like, that's what they have always been able to do well. So on that side of the ball, offensively, they still were very good or as build. Pass protection-wise, that's why I had the question about the run game. Go ahead, Jared.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want one more question before we get off the run game. I'm confused as to, and if anybody's gotten any answers or if you have gotten anything that's alluded to it, but you got Josh Williams, who's been here for a number of years. You got Caleb Jackson, who's in year 2 right now. Obviously, Caden Durham hasn't played, and John Emery's been here since 2019. How is it that we have not figured out what type of runs and what these guys are successful at to be able to kind of deploy them that way?
I mean, that's a great question. I think that I was disappointed, and maybe you're alluding to this. I was disappointed with how they utilized Caleb Jackson. I mean, he had, 7 touches?
Yeah, I mean, that's my point. Yeah, like, I don't get it. Like, we should know
I don't
what they do.
understand that. Yeah, and I will say this, like, I don't know if someone was scared to ask this to BK or not, but, like, my biggest thing is, and I can tell you, like, from what I saw from day 1 of fall camp to the final scrimmage, we did not see some of the things that we saw on Sunday night. I don't know if USC gave a completely different look. I don't feel like they did. I mean, getting kind of into the football terminology, they played a too high shell. Yep. I mean, I just think they out-executed, and it took LSU by surprise. Like, that might sound crazy, and it might sound completely unprepared, but we saw Caleb Jackson running the outside zone, running in between the tackles. We saw some sweet plays. We saw some counters. And Brian Kelly said on Tuesday, the question I was joking about earlier, like he said, we've got everything in the playbook. I just didn't feel like I saw a lot of variety. Like, it just kind of felt like we were watching the same thing over and over again. And I don't understand that, Jared. Like, I don't have a good answer for that. I was disappointed with how Caleb Jackson was utilized. The people that want to get on Josh Williams, look, that's the same people in social media. They're going to love it when he lays out a big block to spring a big play. I mean, that's just is what it is. I don't know. Like, that's a great question, and probably one that I hope I won't be there tonight, but I hope someone asks, him just in general, like, what does it have to look like for you to be successful? Now, who knows how much of an answer you're really going to get there? But Caleb Jackson's the biggest one because he had 6 carries and 1 catch, and nothing that we really saw them in fall camp was really utilized on Sunday. There were some bits and pieces. I don't know. I don't know if that's Joe Sloan as a play caller getting off the play sheet, or they drew up the play sheet and it got blown up because, hey, maybe USC's a little bit better up front than we thought they were, so we need to change some things. I truly don't know the answer to that, but I think it's a fantastic question and one that the fans should really wonder the reason why, because if for some reason you struggle this Saturday, that's when the question really needs to be asked the following Monday heading into a South Carolina team that is so-so, but that one of their strengths they say is their defensive front, and we'll have to obviously see what that looks like when they get there next week.
And it's funny too, just to put a little bow on it, is we sit here and we talk about struggling as a run game, and they still ran for 115 too. So keep that in mind of what we think the run game can be, but that's it's weird.
And I think that the reason people are, I guess, highlighting the run game is because you ran for 4 yards in the fourth quarter. You had 4 rushing yards. So I think that's what people are like. When you really had to have it, it was non-existent.
We didn't have the ball very long in the fourth quarter. That was the other issue. But I know, Bryce. Go ahead.
Yeah.
You have a thought?
Well, I wanted to add this real quick, and I've got more time than I thought originally. So if you
perfect.
Guys, I don't want to keep you, but
you're not keeping us.
I've got more time. Back on that run game thing, if you take away Emory's 39-yard rush,
right,
they averaged around 3.1 yards per carry, which, okay, that's manageable. But when you didn't go vertical down the field, the passing game, it really honed in on the run game. And I don't know. I mean, look, we can sit here and talk about play calling. It was just that whole second half, especially the fourth quarter, was just kind of weird to me. It felt like there was no rhythm, there was no comfortability. It was just kind of we're just calling it as we go, which I know that can happen and people have a feel for that. It just felt weird, and so maybe that's Joe Sloan's, first game, in terms of first game jitters. I mean, a lot of people say, well, yeah, he called plays here and here. Yeah, but when he was at Louisiana Tech, that was really Skip Holtz's offense that he was calling. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know. It's just another thing I'm going to be watching this weekend that I was kind of just puzzled by. I mean, I was sitting on the couch here at the house, and I was like, this is just weird. It just doesn't, nothing feels fluid.
For sure. And look, first half felt very fluid. Third quarter, they had their moments, but the fourth quarter, you're right, it just felt clunky. It didn't feel like they had any rhythm. And
like it was a whole lot of clock watching.
Yeah, and sometimes it happens that way. You hope that doesn't happen like that again the rest of the season.
And can I add one more thing?
Of course, you can add 2 things if you want.
Okay, so I want to add one more thing before we move on to whatever you want to talk about here. Maybe it's still about this. Brian Kelly said, he was asked the question on Tuesday, and this is just my opinion. He said, what does it take, or how do you coach a killer instinct? And he went into this answer. And if it was me, here's my take on it. You don't coach killer instinct. Kids either have that or they don't. You can coach technique. You can coach a lot of things. You can improve a mindset. But look, every single one of us have been in a locker room at varying different levels. And we all know that person, that had that killer instinct, or you played with them, or you played against someone like that. And it's just different. So for LSU to not have that, I don't know if you can necessarily coach that into kids. And I don't, and to what level? I mean, you just have to be able to realize the opportunity and have that. I think that's just, I don't know if that's a coachable trait that you have. That's where I sit with that.
So I agree. I don't know if it's a coachable trait, but I think it's a nurturable trait. So I think that most of these kids that come in here, they have that killer instinct, right? They have the ability to close. It's about nurturing that and showing them how to access that, right? Because you have the ability to do it and you understand what you need to do, but to be able to be shown how to do it or be able to basically push you to do it is a whole different type of thing. And I think that is the bigger question. How do you nurture the killer instinct instead of teaching the killer instinct?
I'd say if I added to that, I'd say the ability and understanding how to, I guess the word I would use would be foster it, right? I think a lot of the killer instinct is understanding those moments and when those moments show up. And they don't always show up in the fourth quarter. Sometimes it shows up in the second quarter, and that may be the play where you just ran down the field for 40 yards and you're like, they won't try that again, and they try it again, and they pop you for one because you let up a little bit right there. I think understanding that those moments are literally in front of you time and time and time again, and you can't let those go. And I think once you start taking that approach, that killer instinct becomes alive in you, because there is no taking plays off. There is no thinking that it's over. There is no thinking that the play's done if the whistle hadn't blown yet. Like you start learning how to foster those moments, those seconds, every opportunity that you get. And I think that's kind of something that it's like understanding and learning how to play and how to live with somewhat of an urgency to what you're doing.
And before I ask the next question, I want to add to that a little bit more. And I say this a lot, and we all talk about this. Me and Jared talk about this a lot in any sport, but the analogy of, if you're in a slump, right, baseball, and you're 0 for 24, you didn't forget how to hit. You're just kind of going through this little bit of a thing. But the minute you have a good swing and you feel it and you hit the homer is the minute you come out of it and all of a sudden you get hot, right? It's similar to every other sport, right? The minute that LSU or whoever it is goes out there and shows that killer instinct and is able to finish a game and is able to say, okay, this is the play that's going to put us over the top, and keep their foot on their throat. The time they do that is the time they take off. It only takes one time to kind of prove it, and I think that's when you see them take that next step moving forward. So, hopefully they can do that in the coming weeks. I don't think, hopefully, we're not seeing it tomorrow. I mean, this weekend. But, hopefully in the coming weeks when you play South Carolina, UCLA, and to Ole Miss, you start to see it. But I do want to ask you about this, Bryce, is the wide receiver room, obviously always super talented. Everybody wants, Chris Hilton to be back, and he's been banged up. And then I was pumped to see Kyle Parker, because I've been very high on Kyle Parker since the offseason. He got hurt first possession. What's the health looking like in the receiver room? And I know that Brian Kelly had mentioned about getting Sampson. He's a priority now to get him ready to go. What's the feeling around that squad?
Yeah, I think a lot of fans and even the media were excited to see kind of what that three-headed monster of Lacey, Hilton, and Daniels could do. And now you know what Connor Lacey can be. We saw that he force-fed him in that first half, and I think Daniels is going to come along nicely. But with Chris Hilton still banged up, I asked the question on Tuesday. I said, hey, what's his status? Kelly said, we're not putting him out there if he's not 100%. And look, I understand that, because that's a guy who's battled injuries, and just for the mental aspect, he needs to be 100% to be able to be out there. But then you go down the line, and I said Kyle Parker injured, with the UCL injury. Don't know the timetable. They said they expect him to come back. They don't know the exact timetable when that will be. And then I even say this about Sheldon Sampson. I think that was more of a Brian Kelly, because coaches do this sometimes. They'll mention a player in the media as a ability to get people to write about it and get people to talk about it, so that said player understands the opportunity that's in front.
Yeah, right.
And I think that's what this is. I think this is a kid, because look, we know the lifespan of players in college athletics now, especially at the program they commit to out of high school. I'm not saying that Sheldon Sampson is in danger of transferring. I am saying, though, with the group that LSU has in the freshman class and the group that I believe they're going to continue to bring in 2025, here's your opportunity. This is probably the best opportunity you're going to get if you're Sheldon Sampson at LSU. You have to take advantage of it, whether it's just this week or the next couple of weeks, and show that, hey, I'm not only capable of this, but I can perform and meet the expectations or go over the top of them. So Sheldon Sampson's going to be a guy to watch. But I also expect Xavion Thomas and Aaron Anderson to be more involved. I like the way that both of those guys were utilized, especially Aaron Anderson.
Me too. I was about to say that.
We've been waiting on ever since he transferred last year. So I think we'll see more of that. But there's depth. It's obviously gotten a little more thin. But, we'll just kind of see. Everyone's going to know where number 2 is on the field. Kyron Lacey's not surprising anybody over the next couple of weeks. So they're going to have to get more people involved. And I'll throw Mason Taylor into that equation, too, because he was a guy who saw a lot of touches early on in that game, and
1,000 yards.
I asked him the question. I said, "What did that feel like?" And he said, "Hey, it felt good. We just got to keep building off of that." And so it seems like there's an understanding from that group of, "Hey, we did some good things. More guys are going to have to get involved now, and this receiver room, we're going to test the depth of it and see what they can do."
Yeah, we just need Kyron Lacey to holster the gun. No more. Let's put that one in the gun safe. No more of that.
It's Call of Duty, dude.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
I know what it is.
Play each other in Call of Duty.
Yeah. I want to ask you about, this is not even LSU, this is just college football as a whole. First full weekend of college football last week. I felt like the slate of games were awesome. Right, I was in Las Vegas, so didn't get to watch game day because that starts at 6 a.m. in Las Vegas, if you were wondering, and I was not in the shape to wake up at 6 a.m. I did wake up at 9 to watch the first game. But this weekend the slate's not as strong. There's a few games that we are obviously highlighting and betting on. What's the game that you like most this coming weekend?
Yeah, I mean, obviously NC State, Tennessee is going to be there. That's one. That game's in Charlotte. I'm excited to watch that one.
Do you know much about NC State?
Yeah, I got you right here, man.
Perfect.
Former Coastal Carolina quarterback, one of the best G5 quarterbacks we've seen in the past 4 years, Grayson McCall. They struggled big time in their opener, but a lot of Week 1 teams kind of struggled. But big thing is they won. They found a way to win. Dave Doran over at NC State, probably one of the more underrated coaches in college football, just with what he's been able to do there. Perennial 8-9 win team, knocking on the door of double digits. He's built a solid program. I think he's a really good coach. And then they have a running back, Jordan Waters, who transferred in from Duke. I will say this too. Watch this. They got this kid named Casey Concepcion, a receiver who is an absolute dog. So they got some weapons. And I don't know if it's going to be enough because I think Nico's really, really good.
Yep.
But I think that's going to be a fun game. Obviously in Charlotte, that's what I'm keeping my eye on.
Do you like the 10 points? Do you like the 10? Do you like them covering 10?
Is it
They look so
NC State plus
disjointed.
10? Is that what you have?
Yeah.
Ooh, I might take that. I might. I don't know. If Nico goes off, though, I feel like this could be his coming out.
Hey, he's
party.
crispy
If
back
he goes
there.
off,
He is crispy back there.
he is nasty.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this. Here's one I like: Boise and Oregon. Okay, I've
talked
got the
about that
over
too.
at 61.5.
Oh, you like the over?
Boise put up 50 points against Georgia Southern the other day. Oregon, I think both offenses are good. Defenses are a little suspect still here early in the season, so I'm taking the over in that one. And then obviously Michigan, Texas, which my biggest question in that game is, can Michigan score?
Yeah.
Defensively, Michigan's still pretty good. They've got some guys up front, but I think it still is. The line's still 7.5 right there with that game.
Yeah.
If it is, we'll see.
I think Texas is gonna smack them. To be honest with you.
They might. Like I was talking to someone today. If Texas gets going, then it's going to be ugly. If Michigan can make it an ugly game, I think they have a chance to win it.
Yeah. Wasn't there one more?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you if you got an opinion at all. What do you think about? I think it's kind of somewhat of a sneaky game, but Arkansas going into Stillwater to play against Oklahoma State. How do you see that one? Obviously, Arkansas's got a little bit of an upgrade at the quarterback position. I think it's somebody that's a little sneaky this year. How do you see that one playing out?
Yeah, I mean, I like Mike Gundy's crew. I did pick them to win the Big 12. I think they've got a great running back, as we talked about, a good offensive line, a solid defense. But Alan Bowman's going to have to play well in this game because I think Arkansas, for all the knocks that they've had against over the past year, I mean, against Sam Pittman, is he going to keep his job? So they still have athletes. And I love their quarterback. He played really well, and it was an FCS game, but he's a good athlete, and he looked good. And so, you roll into Stillwater, it does seem every year Mike Gundy has a game that keeps them from being in the title conversation. They've challenged for the Big 12 title. They've gone and they've won, the Big 12 title in the past 10 years. But really has kept them out of the playoff conversation is a boneheaded loss here or there. So I think Arkansas can keep this game close. I think, once again, kind of like we were talking about Michigan and Texas, if they make it an ugly game, that's going to be something very interesting to watch. I don't know. I mean, Arkansas can win this game. I will say that. It would not blow me away to watch them win this game. It also, fellas, would not blow me away to see Oklahoma State just run the ball down Arkansas's throats and control the clock and win this one, which should be a quality, home win for the Cowboys.
Your boys go 3-0, Georgia Tech. 2.5-point favorites at Syracuse.
Oh, I don't feel comfortable, man. They look nice. I don't feel comfortable with that one. Here, I will tell you a couple more that I got real quick if you got a second.
Of course.
Northern Illinois, I'm fading Notre Dame. I'm taking Northern Illinois plus 28.5.
Wow.
I think that opportunity for a letdown for Notre Dame. Riley Leonard wasn't explosive, and that's going to be the thing. Northern Illinois is a middle of the pack MAC team, so I'm watching that one. And then the last one, which is just a completely just sicko. I'm going
We love
San Diego State
sickos.
plus 5.5 against Oregon State.
Wait, say that again?
Oregon State, San Diego State plus 5.5
Wow.
against Oregon State.
I don't know either.
So,
I don't know
yeah,
one player
I
on
don't know
either
anything
one of
other
those
than-
teams.
I didn't even see that one on the schedule, so that just lets me know what kind of madness you're doing over there in that corner.
No idea. I couldn't even tell you who the coaches
Well, then I'll
are.
throw, I got Texas State minus 1.5 against UTSA.
God, this is great. You're a degenerate. I love that. I love that about you.
College ain't gonna pay for itself.
You do know you have babysitting this weekend as well, too, right? Like you have duties this weekend.
Yes.
We
Yes.
put
Yeah,
together
I need to-
we put
yeah.
together a 3-team parlay, which I guess we'll talk about now. I took the Texas minus 7.5. That was my pick. Jared's pick was
I forget, but what is it?
Clemson.
Lloyd, throw it up.
Oh yeah, Jared's pick was Clemson minus 17. He thinks they're gonna bounce back. And Lloyd took Nebraska minus 7, which that was
I got him at 16.5 too, by the way, and not 17.
I'll have to come back and explain this on Monday.
Yeah. That's not it.
Well, I mean, that's what it's on there. And then Lloyd
don't
like
mind that.
Lloyd likes Nebraska 7. You don't like that?
No, he's lying to us now. He hates this right here. He's lying
No,
to us.
I said I don't mind that. I think Nebraska could absolutely cook.
Raiola's
Colorado.
good.
And yeah, I think Nebraska could. Yeah, Raiola looked really good. The only thing going in that one that makes me nervous, and I'm not touching that line for this
Clemson.
reason. Shador and Travis could just go off.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's going to be at week in and week out when you're placing your bets. That's what everyone's going to be wary of betting against Colorado. It's like, what if this is the game where they just go crazy? Because they can do it despite some of their deficiencies, and I still think that offensive line's bad. That'll be something to watch. And then obviously with Jared's App State, Clemson. I mean, look, everyone loves picking App State because they beat Michigan however many years ago.
Mhm.
Still a good football team, one of the better teams in the Sun Belt. They have a really good quarterback, Joey Aguilar. That'll be interesting to watch. Clemson has got to figure this out because the ACC, if they're not careful, we're all going to have to sit in December and watch like Pitt play Wake Forest for an ACC title, and I would rather do anything other than that. So,
Or you'll watch, or we'll watch Pitt at home.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, or we'll watch Pitt at home, waiting on someone to lose that or win that first round game, so they can come and play them.
Yeah, somebody's gonna have to win the ACC.
Somebody's got to win it.
Think
They're
about
getting
that.
in.
Think about someone won the ACC with 3 or 4 losses and then getting a
Is it?
bye.
It's weird that we're already just assuming that the ACC is getting the 4 seed right now.
Oh, it's now. I do like Miami. I think Miami's can
Well,
look nice.
he's nice until he has a game where he throws 4 interceptions because he's throwing 360 fadeaway 60-yard throws down the field.
Them shits look good as hell in Ben Hill Griffin the other night.
No doubt.
Dude was playing Madden in real life.
No doubt.
He was playing Madden in real life, just running around throwing the ball.
No doubt. But at some point he's going to do that, and it's not going to go to the right guys.
I don't know,
And
it is the ACC. We'll see.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Just have 46 career fumbles.
So I assume you're not going out there this weekend?
I am.
Oh, you
I am.
are?
I'm gonna be out there, man.
All right. Well, let us know when you get
Yeah,
out there.
yeah.
Come meet up with the boys. We'll we'll teach the little one how to tailgate.
Hey, I will say this because I think you did shoot this invite. If it's still open, I think the UCLA game. I'm not going to work it. I got a buddy coming into town. I know he's watching right now, so I want to show him the tailgate experience at LSU. So we'll have to do something.
Yeah, link up with us for sure. Lloyd's the master tailgater. Lloyd actually has full access to my family's tailgate, so
He's got a key and everything.
yeah, he actually drives the bus out there.
I drive the old bus. I haven't driven the new bus yet.
Well,
but
the old
we'll
bus
see.
doesn't drive. I guess you have to tow it,
You push it.
which I may have to tow my truck. Apparently, I don't know. It's not turning on right now, so we'll see what happens to that.
Lloyd, when I saw you at fall camp, I don't think I've told you this. When I saw you at fall camp a couple weeks ago, someone tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Who is that guy with that hair?" And they didn't know who you were.
He's
And I
supposed to
just
be
didn't
here.
even say anything. I just walked over.
I don't know who that is either.
Yeah, they're like, who's that homeless guy that just walked out here on the field? Like,
Yeah.
what's happening?
I was about 10 minutes late, so I missed the whole lead in.
weird. You're
So I just
late?
kind of snuck on in.
That's weird.
Well, the gate was open.
But yeah, dude, call us. Let us know about the UCLA. Hit us up this weekend. Like to see you out there this weekend. Weather's gonna be great. Not going to be super hot. This rain sucks right now, but it's going to be great on Saturday. So, dude, we appreciate you coming on the show. Sorry we kept you longer than we wanted to, or than you wanted to maybe. But we always enjoy talking football with you, especially the betting. Now that I know that you're a true degenerate, we'll have a lot more betting conversations.
We will. Last thing before I get out of here, 14, 15-year-old Bryce is hurting today. Atlanta native Rich Homie Quan passed away.
Yeah, I know.
Gotta hate it. So,
R.I.P.
That sucks. Man. That was one of my walk-up songs in high school. So there you go.
It is. He had a good run with some bangers for a while.
He did.
Yep.
We'll turn
Appreciate
it up on the
you.
weekend.
Pour
All right,
one out
fellas,
for
I
him.
appreciate
All right,
it.
dude. Later. Bryce is betting San Diego State and Oregon State. I couldn't tell you.
Bryce knows App State's
One
quarterbacks.
person.
He knows App State's quarterbacks numbers right now. Like Bryce is knee deep in it.
He's a
right
college
now.
football fan. Like, I don't think you need to know that for your job. I
Yeah,
don't
he
think
is knee deep in it
Yeah.
right now.
Might as well do it if I can. We're like, and then he looks at our card. He's like, "Oh, the 3 biggest games of the weekend. Y'all all pick that one."
Yeah. Well,
like,
look, we
you-
picked some other ones, but it's
These are the slam dunks. These are the ones we're putting home.
The early parlays are more about, hey, let's have something that we have to watch.
We
All
need
the big games, we have something on the big games.
This is stuff we feel good about too at this point right now. Like these, I mean, obviously it's super early. We don't know. We haven't seen a lot of these teams. Just kind of going off the little bit you've seen, the little bit that you know. These are the ones we like. Now catches in week 7, we might be throwing some Bryce bets in there. But
It's
right
the-
now, here's where we at.
The Clemson deal, I need Clemson's defense to do what we expect them to do. I just don't have any trust in their offense. I just want their defense. If their defense plays
If their
they
defense
played
they
the
play in the
first
first half and the offense does anything decent, I feel like they can cover 16.5 because that's what I got it at. Once again, I didn't get it at no damn 17, 16.5.
well, it was 17 on the app, so we have to go with the current deal.
If you shop around,
If you shop around,
There you go.
we should've
Thank
put-
you.
we
There's
should've
more than one app.
we should've
Shop it
put-
around.
We should have put asterisk next to it, say 16 and a half or 17,
or wherever you get it,
whatever you get it, but no higher than 17.
I mean, I like it at 17, but
16.5 could be a
16.5
winner. That's
is
the difference.
better.
Yeah.
The hook. Don't love it. Don't love it. But that's our bets. I'm not touching the NFL game tonight. I don't think.
No, still got plenty of time to get there.
I'm not touching it right now.
Right. About 6 minutes before kickoff. See something in pregame where you're like, maybe.
Man, my couch is about to get. Me and my couch are get real reacquainted with these
Me and the homie.
these weekends, these weekend games. We actually got a new couch. TV room in the house got a new couch coming in on the 13th.
Wow, big new couch guy.
Yeah, so it's it's supposed to be a TV room / guest room / whatever room. And so
New
my
couch
wife wanted to make it look more
Presentable.
wanted to look prettier. So we got a new couch, which
So you got
obviously-
kicked out of it, basically.
No. This is gonna be more comfortable for me. Now it pulls out into a queen size bed. So if we have a guest that want to stay, doesn't look like it. We don't have a blow up mattress, the whole deal, and so looking forward to seeing that.
If you need somebody to-
Not really looking forward to moving out the other couch and having to do all the work together. Doesn't seem like.
You don't get somebody to do that. They don't.
Actually, she may have done that. She
Picked it up by herself? Good.
Oh,
No, she may have gotten someone to say, "Hey, I need this installed in the house,"
right.
which would be great for me.
And this one taken out. And
Well,
bring
we're
this
trying to
in.
sell that one right now.
Facebook
Marketplace. If you're on it, $650. Nice little L sectional, very comfortable,
From what year?
There you go.
Like new.
Plug it. There you go.
like
plug it.
new. It was COVID. It was a COVID couch. We bought it during COVID, and
So we got all of it in it.
Yeah.
it was it was the break.
What was
we
it?
got it clean. It's real good.
It could not have been used more.
Very lightly used. It's not. It wasn't a popular. It's not a living room couch. It's a side guest room, TV room couch that
If you dog sit,
you have. It's in great shape.
great shape.
You wouldn't be able to tell it's been used. Great shape.
This they should
Facebook Marketplace. Go look it up.
/ Mikey's couch.
I thought you were gonna go a different route there. I thought you were gonna go a different route.
I think the people know.
Lloyd, you got any degenerate bets that you want, that you like yet? Or
I
you haven't
did.
really locked in yet.
No. I guess my calling card, as we've all come to see, is I like to throw in a teaser every now and again, and I've already constructed my teaser.
Nice. I'm gonna start taking these with you.
Yeah, they're fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna start taking these with you.
And so I did a little. Let's see. I'm logging in. Look at my bets. Because I did get on a little bit of a degenerate streak there on Thursday. Of like the opening day of college football, where I was betting on Howard in every game
won that
night,
one, though.
and we won. Yeah, we won. But 2-team teaser. It is 2 teams we've mentioned, but Texas -1.5, Oklahoma State -1.5. Have you seen where?
What are the odds of that tease?
Oh, plus 100.
okay,
25.
so there you go.
Yeah.
Positive money.
Yep. Have you seen where Van Gundy does his coaches show from? Does it from the nursing home.
Why?
Apparently they love him, and so he goes in there and it like makes everybody's day that he's doing the coach
Oh, that's
show.
good. That's good for
But
him.
I just didn't even think that was on the bingo card to be able to do it, because if LSU did that, I felt like it would be met with so much backlash for some reason or another that it's. I guess this is where you're doing the coaches show from, because LSU is like TJ Ribbs. Everybody goes and they used to ask him questions and write him poems, and this is just he said posted up playing bingo at the old folks home, answering a couple questions. I was like, Gundy's on an all-time heater right now.
Well, he's talking about drinking and driving, how it, like we've all done it. It's okay. Just slide it under the rug a little bit.
Well, yeah.
Too. Now I'm gonna go be doing my show from the nursing home because I'm a good person.
Yeah. Well, and I think he wasn't wrong about it. Like the blood alcohol level was very low.
Yeah, he was not wrong about it.
It wasn't you in Las Vegas getting behind the wheel.
I did not get behind the wheel in Las
No.
Vegas. The traffic in Las Vegas was a nightmare.
Walk
by
it.
the way. Too hot to walk, Coach. It was.
Steamy? Smoking Joe's?
Listen to me. With the pool party, when I was walking around with my flip flops, before I could get from one side of the pool to the other side of the pool, my flip flops were like hot as fuck. I had to like dip them in the water because it was so fucking hot. Yeah.
You're sticking to the. You're
was-
turn it into rubber.
Like if my toe would touch like the end of it, like that doesn't have anything on it, it would be freaking
Cooked.
yes. Yes.
No barefoot then. Nobody was walking around barefoot at the pool.
Sounds like no.
A little bit, but then no, and then they had a little bit of an overcast, some cloud cover. That made it very glorious.
Speaking of cloud cover,
Yes.
is this weather going to keep up into Saturday?
No.
Or is it going to be gone?
No. It's gonna be gone. It's gonna rain tomorrow, like half the day, and then the second half of the day it's gonna stop. Sun's gonna come out. Gonna be beautiful.
Cold.
The high on Saturday is like 86,
Yeah.
which I know it doesn't sound, but that's great.
It's usually 106.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
Yeah. Good. Because
Yeah.
LSU needs a little bit of good weather. Because I don't
Um,
think people are exactly thrilled to be going out there. You wanted imagine the 100th year, the 100th home opener.
It's gonna be a good turnout. It's the first home game of the season. That's always a good turnout. So
I just think if they'd have won, it would have been much easier you wouldn't have to twist so many arms.
Damn, Lloyd, how'd you figure that?
Yeah. Well, people give up.
think so?
Yeah.
They give up already, huh? No, they're gonna show up. They're gonna
Great.
show up. There's not much going on around here. The weather's gonna be better. It's gonna be sunny. They're gonna get out there and they're gonna just enjoy the day, because they have nothing else to do. It's Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Perfect.
Saturday, baby.
Saturday.
Football is here.
Football is here tonight.
Football's here tonight.
You taking it?
Thursday, baby.
You touching it?
Yeah,
You
with
touching
my
the game?
remote, I ain't touching that game.
Yeah.
with the wallet, no.
I'm not touching it right now. I'll probably touch it tonight. You
Yeah,
know,
it's hard to. It's
you know
hard.
me.
It's the first NFL game of the year.
You know me.
There's a couple of holidays.
But I do have to leave. I don't want to go back to the well and try to reinvest money into my account. So I want to keep what I got in there. So I got to have some money to go out and bet some more games on Saturday. So I can't,
Ain't doing it.
can't do it.
But I'll be locked in all 60 though, but I ain't doing it.
You want to get to the segments?
Yeah, speaking of somebody that was locked in is now locked up, Joe's Z Place Mistake of the Day.
Brought to you by Mistake of the Day. Brought to you by
Joe's Z Place. Chiefsaholic, they caught my
Yeah.
man. They caught
My
him.
guy was like, he had a nice little scheme going for a minute.
He was not afraid to run from the law either. He was out there, and it was very well documented that he just going to keep trying to go to Chiefs games because he was addicted to the Chiefs and addicted to gambling apparently also. No. The lawyers say he was addicted to fame. That he did all of this it was all about Chiefsaholic, baby.
Yeah.
So, 17 and a half years in prison for the bank robbing superfan Chiefsaholic. sentences on charges referring to bank robbery spree hours before his favorite teams kick off their run for a third straight title, obviously being the Chiefs. Multiple reports, Xavier Babadar pleaded guilty to money laundering, transporting stolen property across state lines, and bank robbery earlier this year and was sentenced to 17 and a half years in prison.
3 years
And
good behavior, though.
Yeah.
3 years parole. Right?
They're seeking a 10-year sentence. Didn't get it.
Mm.
Arrested in 2022 for armed robbery, he was released on bond, jumped bail, and robbed more banks before being caught again in July 2023.
See, that's not going to be good for you going in there and asking for a shorter sentence.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it again.
Yeah, it's not. Hey, listen, you haven't.
He cut off his ankle brace, and then admitted to robbing. So that's when he jumped bail. He cut off his ankle monitor, and then was caught again in 23. Admitted to robbing more than $800,000 from banks as part of his plea deal, and has been ordered to pay more than $530 in restitution, and faces a $10.8 million civil judgment after being sued by the bank teller he threatened with a gun.
This man is a menace.
He was, and he all-time rolled. He just wanted to watch. He just wanted to make it to the Super Bowl.
Good grief.
That's wild.
But
what a sequence for him.
that was a great run.
Great run. Okay, let's go to the curtain calls. Brought to you by our friends at Perkins and McKenzie.
And
Me?
Perkins and McKenzie and Mikey.
Mm-hmm.
I've got one. I don't know if you all. This might be a group one, but I don't know if you saw Mundo Duplantis.
I put it in the group text.
Yes, I saw it. Obviously, didn't know that he had that.
Me either.
Assumed that he was definitely an athlete, but the person he beat was like a 400-meter gold medalist.
No, 400 meter hurdles.
Hurdles, yes. And Mondo just 100 meters.
I don't care. A 10-3 in it is flying, bro.
That's crazy. And Mondo,
And it wasn't close.
No, he gave the Shikari look back, and apparently they were best friends in college. So Mondo, super athlete, continues winning.
I mean, that's I didn't know he had that.
I
didn't know he had that bullet either.
What was it for?
It was like I think it was a.
It was a pro. I don't know if it was a pro-am, but it was like an exhibition.
It was something to like generate
buzz.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, so he doesn't do that.
He doesn't run. He's just a pole vaulter.
Well, he runs.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
Oh, he runs.
But that's what I was wondering if it was like an event. I was like, I didn't even know he ran the 100 meters. Like, oh, no, he doesn't. This was just like you said. It was something where.
To even get to when you don't run like that and obviously he runs like that, but like he doesn't run that race. And so to do that and to keep the hamstrings intact too that's impressive.
He wants to do it again.
Impressive.
No doubt. I mean, dude. I mean, he's they. Like those pole vaulters, like they sprint and they have like they do go through.
They
that
all
stuff,
train as track and field. Everybody trains. You know what I'm saying? But that's different.
He didn't have his pole.
It's different.
How fast do you think he runs 100 meters with the pole?
I don't really.
Because that's a long way to go with a pole in your hand.
Yeah.
How far do they? I wonder how far they go with it.
Not 100.
No, but like 40.
I don't know how far it is.
We can find out.
You got one?
Yeah. Just go ahead. Stay on this LSU train a little bit, but 100 years, bro. Like Tiger Stadium will be showing off the new digs Saturday.
Scoreboard, big scoreboard,
new scoreboard, light show. I think will be a part of it. The ambiance, what you see, and what you're used to, and obviously the voice of the stadium this year too will be a little bit different. Bill Frankens will be up there, so 100 years. It's gonna look a little different. It's gonna sound a little different, but getting to show that off and pull the cover off the car, if you will. Tiger Stadium, curtain call, 100 years. Love it.
My curtain call is I didn't get to watch game day last week. I heard it was awesome. Nick Saban, the clips that I saw of him were amazing.
Time out. You got to stop telling a lie. You got a chance to watch it. You just were preoccupied last week.
Yeah. I was not getting up at 6 a.m. to watch it. I had a chance, and I let the chance go by.
Yeah. I saw the
happily let it go.
There we go. That's better.
Yeah, hey, listen, I appreciate what you're doing, but I'm going to have to catch you next week.
Yeah, you'll be back.
But the clips that I did see of Saban and McAfee and the boys, it looked like it was electric. It was fun. First game day, first $50,000 field goal made, which was impressive. But my curtain call is to this week's College Game Day. Guest appearance on game day this week is Will Ferrell. Every time Will Ferrell goes on College Game Day or something that is involved with sports, believe it or not, Will Ferrell actually is a pretty solid athlete. Watch any type of sport movie that he has played in, his actions are actually not bad. I mean, Elf, he was absolutely letting those snowballs fly, But he's on there. I think with him, McAfee, Saban, and those, I think it's going to be very entertaining. My current call is to game day as a whole, though, because I think it's bringing in the younger generation of fans again.
Yeah.
That other generation is getting a little older. They've kind of gotten past that. Got to bring in the new generation. They're doing that. So
What does he have to do?
Where's that
with-
this week? Michigan, right?
Yeah, what does he have to do with Michigan and Texas? I know he's a USC guy.
I don't know.
Whatever.
Who cares?
Probably promoting something.
Yeah, who cares? Jeter will be there again. No, Jeter was there.
I think he'll probably be there again, though.
He'll probably be there again.
Who?
Jeter.
Probably have Jeter,
Derek
McConaughey. Probably have all of that going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go
Will
again.
F- and Will Ferrell.
Star-studded affair.
And Lee Corso.
Lee Corso made appearance.
He did. He dressed up like an Irishman. He was jigging up there. And he's right. 1-0.
He was getting
He was
it.
right.
He was the only one that was bad.
He was right. All right. That's all we got for the week. It's just 3 straight days. We've been grinding for everybody. We appreciate y'all tuning in. Sorry that it was kind of a weird schedule. We'll be back on track next week with our regular scheduled programming. Enjoy the first NFL game tonight. Enjoy the college football and NFL slate this weekend. Good luck gambling. Follow our picks if you want to. This is a shakeback week. We're going to win. Plus 597. We'll post them on Twitter so that everybody can either make fun of us or join in with us. And hopefully we can all celebrate together on Sunday because this will be done on Saturday. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Enjoy your